Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this dream house. We're now a podcast, and this is a podcast that's all about the home. We'll talk about designing. We'll talk about family fun, leisure, sports, you name it, appliances, cooking, appliance repairs. We're going to cover it all. And here I am with my good friend and partner, as always, Chef ChefMarkKalix. How are you, buddy? Good seeing you, man.
Good to see you. I'm at the Fine Lines location, downtown Denver on Zunai Street. And you know what's just over my shoulder, maybe a quarter mile away? Bronco Stadium.
Well, yeah, I wish I had a lot better things to say.
Yeah.
I look. Here's what's crazy, Chef, to me. So the Broncos last year, Russell Wilson, everybody's complaining, Russell Wilson. And I had made a prediction at the end of the year. Not a prediction. I don't think I was any different than many people. I felt he could be comeback player of the year. And look, he's played really, really well. Not only that, but if you would have told me this year the Broncos would average 10 more points per game than they did last season, I'd have told you we were in pretty good shape. But alas, we forgot how to play defense, apparently. And from that, I just can't remember a season. Here we are again, right? Wait till next year. And I'm not saying wait till next year yet, but, it could be wait till next year again, well over a decade. It's just getting tiring saying wait till next year.
It's a slippery slope. I don't know much about football. I don't know the players.
No, you're not the...
But what I do know, and I follow a couple of teams, and what I do know is I grew up in Cleveland, and every year for my entire life, now for well over 40 years, it's wait till next year. And it's a slippery slope because once you start kicking the can down the road, you can't stop. Now, the problem I think that Cleveland has is that their fans are too loyal. They're going to stick in there no matter what. And I think that the fans need to get angry, and
well, I can tell you, I think Bronco fans
pocketbook.
Yeah, well, and I can tell you, I think Bronco fans are angry. However, if the Rockies are any indication of fandom, I'm going to call it, they're going to show up in droves. That's kind of unfortunate, I guess. But when you look at the Rockies, do you know? The last two games of the year, I can't remember which game it was. They drew 40,000 fans. Now, I want you to think about this. The Tampa Bay Rays are in the playoffs. First home game. So they're a home team, playoffs, and they drew 19,000 people only. I can't even imagine anything more embarrassing than that.
It's the nice weather that pulls people out for baseball here in Denver. You said on that bar.
It's the playoffs.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, good point. But we're I've gone to many a game, Rockies game, where I left and I didn't even know what the score was, who won or lost. I was just having such a nice time.
See, you fit right in. Have a good time. Go up to the party deck. Have a hot dog and just that's kind of what it seems like you go to the game for, because it's certainly not to see a good product on the field, but something more near and dear to our heart, outdoor leisure. I would say you were the one that turned me on to disc golf, and Eddie and all the guys down there at Fly Green, let's give them a big shout out because they were fabulous with us. And, buddy, I now play 2-3 times a week, and I went to this place. It's called North Cove, and that's in Marion, North Carolina.
Okay.
And they have 3 courses, 3 18-hole courses, very hilly terrain. I played the Boulder course. They say that's the easier course. And, to be very honest with you, I shot 26 over, so 13 over per round on one of, I stepped up, crazy level. But they say the other course that's there is the absolute most difficult disc golf course in the country.
Wow.
I have a good friend of mine who, he's pretty much a par, maybe 2 or 3 below par. He's a serious disc golfer. He said he shot a plus 40 on that course.
Smokes. Wow.
He says if you're 12 foot You could throw 300 yards, but 12 foot left or right, you're out of bounds.
Yeah.
It needs to be a absolute bullseye.
Laser
Every
beam.
throw, you're not scoring.
You got to be on a rope, huh? Well,
Yeah.
let's tell
Even
our
on a rope,
listeners.
you just
Yep.
can't be off. Period.
Right. I think we should tell our listeners a little bit about what disc golf is and how to play.
I mean, for those that don't know, and Chef got me into it, and Chef, I'll start. You take over. Look, for lack of a better word, it's like Frisbee golf. You play it exactly the same. You have tees, you have fairway drivers, you have putters, and ultimately the object is to get it into the Frisbee basket in the least amount of throws as possible.
Right. And it's in feet, not yards.
Yes.
So, a 300-foot hole is actually a decent length hole in disc golf. And there's pars. So most holes are par 3 or par 4. The target you're shooting at is a basket with chains that hang down, and your disc hits the chains and falls in. You don't play with like a whammo Frisbee. You play with different stabilities. There's drivers, there's mid-ranges. Some of them fight wind. Some of them do tailwind. Some of them are for drives. And then I think the most important part is the majority of the courses out there are completely free.
Yeah, to me, and generally you could play a fast round. So play a fast 18 holes generally on where I play here. It takes me about an hour and 15 to an hour and 20 minutes at most. However, I will tell you, because you smirked at me when I said plus 26, there was a 638-foot hole.
Ooh, yeah, that's big.
And I bogeyed it, which was pretty darn good.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah. And I would say it's a kind of thing it's really fun to do with friends and family, and it's light activity. It keeps you. It's walking but man, the mental game. Like I would say, I'm not much of a ball golfer, and I know that golfers hate the term ball golf, but for the sake of this conversation, it makes sense. But I know real golfers kind of poo-poo Frisbee golf, but I think it's as challenging as
Chef, the course that I was just telling you about, do you know, because it's on a old golf course and it's extremely hilly and terrainy, you could actually rent a golf cart because it's that. Yeah, it was, I think the 18 holes were 5 miles. I was like, Jesus. Yeah, it was long. That's why I told you. Generally, though, I've been playing 3 to 6 over on my local course. I'm pretty happy about that.
I'm thrilled that you've discovered this, and I know you're playing with your son. And,
yes, I owe it all to you.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you for embracing a sport that doesn't involve a ball.
Yes. So hey, let's get to you now. You've got some pretty exciting things going on. My understanding is you have an article which you're featured in Colorado's Best Kitchen. Tell me a little bit about Colorado's Best Kitchen, and then, maybe a little more about what can we look forward to in the article.
Yep. So I've been writing for Colorado's Best Kitchens magazine for about 6 years now. The magazine comes out twice a year, spring and fall. So I'm, in many respects, the food editor. So I write 1 or 2 articles for the magazine. And this year, we're talking about texture. And really, this came from the spring issue. They do a roundtable with designers, and the question was, how do you apply texture to interior design? So an example of that would be like the moss wall, or a tile that is has a variegated texture to it, or a living edge on a counter. These are all ways to add texture to an interior. And of course, texture is really important in food. So an example I like to use is we like things with a crunch. Like every good dessert has a crunch. It has a cookie or a tweak